Welcome to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show.
Let me talk to you.
What's up, everybody? Razorback Zach coming to you live back in the Central Arkansas Hog Pen. And let's all take a breath for a second.
Anybody need a cold water?
I do. I do. I do, because mine's room temp. Mine's hot.
We can ship some down from the NEA here. So
mine's it might not get here in time, but what? Welcome to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. I know it's not the postgame because game was yesterday, but due to time constraints, due to the experience at War Memorial and everything else, we decided to go ahead and push it to tonight. But I promise you, this is the only time we're ever going to have these separate post game on different days than the ball game. But we want to hear from you. If you were at the ball game last night, alongside myself, if you were there, I want to hear from you. Trust me, because we're going to be doing a podcast on games at War Memorial and MC. I swear to God, I was gonna look, man. I'm gonna tell you right now. I was gonna argue in agreement to have the games continued at Razorback Stadium, but I decided after last night that I was like, yeah, no, ain't happening. Nah.
No, there's just not much you can do now to try to justify playing down there after what happened last night.
I mean, how can you at this point? You know,
I'm trying to be semi-nice with what I'm saying, but I don't think even the staunchest advocates, and you know who they are in the Central Arkansas market, I don't think you can even have those guys come out and defend it now.
No, and the problem is there was a lot of things. There was a lot, and again, next year you're going to have A-State there,
right?
That is going to. I'm going to tell you now. That is going to be a sold-out game. 55,000 people will be there. And if they have the same issues that they've had for the last 2 years, you will not see another Razorback game in Little Rock ever.
I think you got to move that game. I mean,
where are you going to move it to, MC?
Move it to Fayetteville.
There ain't no way. You're going to try to tell me that they're going to make this a home and home.
No, you don't do home and homes with Sunbelt. No, it's like, listen, y'all can come over here. We can guarantee the bathrooms will work. We can guarantee the card scanners will work. We can guarantee you cold drinks when it's 112 degrees outside. Or we can go to Little Rock, have 30,000 less seats, and y'all can roll the dice and take your chances.
I just my whole thing though is you come out publicly, and you and I kind of touched on this during the Dave Ellswick show this morning.
Yeah.
You come out publicly, you being the state, the War Memorial Commission, War Memorial Stadium Commission, whatever, the state parks.
Yeah, Parks and Rec. Yeah.
Parks and Rec, whatever. And say, you know, we've upped the connectivity at the stadium, you know, for the network. We've doubled the amount of scanners, we've added water and all this. But then the bathrooms all of a sudden just stop working.
Well, and at this point, if you come out ahead of time and say you're going to make all these improvements, who's going to believe you at this point? How many times is the general public going to let you cry wolf before? See what I did there? Cry wolf.
Yeah. See what you did there. That was smart.
That was
smooth.
Completely unplanned.
That was smooth.
But how many times are you going to be able to do that with the general public before they say the same thing's going to happen? You know, what's the definition of insanity?
And here's the thing, you know, you, not to put you on the spot again, but you have made it a point, you know, we did it last year, you're going to do it again this year. You've made it a point to go, the stadium looks empty. Let me explain. And I couldn't speak on the experience like you did. You spoke on the experience last year because you were there.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I got to experience this year. Holy crap, dude. Okay. Holy crap. Because normally now for those of you that are listening, and for those of you that are watching, correct me if I'm wrong, but used to, in years past, if you sat in a certain section in that stadium, whatever gate was closest to that section is the gate you had to go into.
Yeah.
Like you couldn't go in. So like if you were sitting in let's say section 25 underneath the press box, you couldn't go into gate 1
right
over there by the main gate, over on the we'll call it the state hospital side of the stadium.
Yeah.
For those of you that are trying, like me, that are directionally challenged. Situations like that. Okay. They opened the floodgates last night.
Mm-hmm.
They opened, and anybody could go into any gate, which caused a gigantic congestion in the concourse where nobody could move. You were literally standing like this. The other problem with that stadium is when the team runs out on the field, there's not a separate tunnel for them to run out of.
Yeah. So they close.
They shut the damn concourse down.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, now I get it. It's a multi-use stadium, okay? Benton and Bryant use it for the Salt Bowl, and that's another thing. Breathe, Zach. Breathe.
Need
I
a
gotta save,
saw.
I gotta save some of this for the podcast, which y'all are not gonna want to miss this, by the way. Here's the other key fact to this before we get to the game, though, MC. Catholic plays there every Friday night. You don't hear about these issues at a Catholic game.
You also don't have 40,000 people at a Catholic game.
No, but the bathrooms work.
Well, yeah, and I'd like to know, was it a volume issue that caused them to lose the water pressure? Was it too many people flushing at one time? I mean,
so
as comical as that sounds, that could be the issue.
So what I asked around a lot, and it started from the press box. It started on the press level of the press box, which is level 3, and it just gradually worked its way down from there. Okay.
Which, if you're gonna have problems, a lot of times with things like this, you got to have problems that affect the right people in order to get change to happen.
Okay, but
I would say affecting the likes of Randy Rainwater, Chuck Barrett, all the guys from Hog Trail or whatever the NWA thing is, Razorback Nation, whatever, Pig Trail Nation, whatever. Nation.
Here's the thing: is not only was it the AC didn't work in the press box,
right?
Either, okay. Right. But the drinks were hot in the concessions. I was given 2 very hot bottles of water and a very hot Gatorade.
I spoke to someone today who was in the press box, headed to the restroom, crossed paths with Andrew Hutchinson as he was coming out.
Good dude.
Crossed paths with Hutch. Yeah. Hutch told him, dude, don't go in there. There's no water. The sink doesn't work. The toilet won't flush anything. This same guy goes on at halftime to get a drink, because they hand the drinks to you in the press box there. He was behind Chuck Barrett in line. Chuck asked for a drink, a soda, and the woman told him, she's like, I'm sorry, we're out, and we're not going to be able to get any more until after halftime because they've shut the elevators down, during halftime for the high rollers that set one level below the press box to go up and down. And then also for the coaches to go where they need to go. So if Chuck Barrett can't even get a cold drink, we got problems.
Well, here's the other thing, okay? And our brand new sponsor, Allen Kerr, is texting me right now. And he says, because the governor was there last night. Sarah Huckabee Sanders was in attendance last night. And he says, if the governor couldn't go to the bathroom, this is a direct quote from him, says if the governor couldn't go to the bathroom, that should get it noticed.
What did I say? The right people have to be affected
now
in order to see change.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but the conditions at War Memorial have deteriorated since Parks and Rec took it over from the independent commission, correct?
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
It's gone way downhill
Okay.
since Parks and Rec took it over.
The other thing, and then we'll get to the game because the game is the good stuff. Half the scanners on the west, all the scanners on the west side of the stadium quit working.
Yeah.
There was a line down the golf course.
That's ridiculous.
300 yards from where I was sitting. Once I made it back to my tailgate spot, of people still trying to get in middle of the second quarter.
Yeah.
Middle of the second quarter. Of course, shortly after that, there was a fight that broke out. That was fun.
I'm telling you, it was probably people frustrated because they couldn't get into the game.
Well, and the tailgating atmosphere was great. We had a couple of guys that were next to us at the Harrison Chef Services tailgate that were UAPB fans. We were clowning with them all day long.
Well, it should be. Yeah.
And that's the thing. When you're out on that golf course or when you're out in the gardens in Fayetteville or in Baum East where we're going to be set up and where we set up in Fayetteville or whatever, you're one big family no matter who you play.
Right.
I know of a couple of Auburn fans that I've shaken hands with and said, hey, man, y'all welcome to the Hill. Y'all have a safe trip. Enjoy yourselves.
Yeah.
So it just, I don't know. It's hard pressed for me to want to keep games in Fayetteville without in
Little Rock.
Yeah, in Little Rock. Sorry. I'm still fried. My brain is still fried from the heat yesterday.
Understandable.
It's hard for me to, and I walked around the tailgate too. I walked around the golf course to a couple of people. And sorry, our sponsor still texting me, and I don't know if I can say that one on air.
Well, you can't leave us hanging.
I'll say it in a minute.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So full disclosure, Allen Kerr, who's our sponsor, is also my dad. So there are some things I have to draw that fine line.
There's some father-son conversations that may not need to go public. So.
I walked around the golf course. I walked around from about noon to about 1 o'clock, asking various people. Here's the thing: I've had people tell me that they want 3 to 5 games in Little Rock.
That's
but in
not
order
gonna happen.
But in order for them to eat, and I even said, in order for them to only have one, what has to change at the stadium? You know what everybody said? Every single person I asked said the same thing. They need to tear the stadium down and rebuild it.
And if you go that route, it's going to be a little more acceptable with me to have games there. I don't like playing home games away from the campus. And again, I'm not going to go deep into this because, like Zach said, we've got a podcast coming up that's going to be absolute fire about Little Rock games.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're playing in a state-of-the-art facility, it's understandable. I can live with it. I can make it happen. Crap, I'll go. I'm a lot closer to Little Rock than I am to Fayetteville.
By the way, big. Sorry, MC, the internet cut out for a second.
That's okay.
Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but as it stands right now, I'm not going back to War Memorial Stadium. Period. Hard stop. End of story.
Hey, Zach,
I see our boy Sam has surfaced. We missed him.
Yes,
a couple of weeks, and
Sam the pun.
So
he says Donald W. Reynolds Razorback Stadium is the Rooster, and War Memorial is definitely the tutor of the Hogs. Playing at War Memorial is the equivalent of being on an episode of Locked Up in a Pod. I will say this: I've missed Sam. I have missed Sam.
So this is the comment that got me because this is something I didn't think about, but when I read that, I was like, ugh.
Well, so if the water wasn't working in the stadium, then concessions should have been closed immediately. That's disgusting. So here's the thing. They're not fountain drinks at the stadium. They're all bottled.
Yeah, but you still got the popcorn. You got the hot dogs and stuff that are being handled. And
yeah, no, true.
Unless they ran out of those
safety.
Too.
Yeah, food safety. Yeah,
food safety.
Yeah. But again, I was feeling like too much of a sardine, and I went back to my tailgate. So, but we do have a couple of fans that I've reached out to that they are going to do an interview with us within the next week or so.
Cool.
To coincide with the podcast. Yeah. So if you guys are not subscribed to the podcast, do so because you're not. We've got some podcasts coming up, just podcast only episodes coming up that you're not going to want to miss. We're talking NIL, we're talking games at War Memorial. And we're going to be starting our series with different people from our opponents. So we're going to have one of the guys kind of like us. Now, these aren't big names. These aren't famous. These are guys just like us that are going to be talking Oklahoma State next week, UAB the following week, so forth and so on. So y'all aren't going to want to miss that. But right now, we're going to step away. And after this message from Allen Kerr, we're going to break down the game of Arkansas and UAPB. 70-0 is your final score. 700 yards of total offense. So with that, we're going to go to break after this message from Allen Kerr Advisors.
Hi, I'm Allen Kerr, president and founder of Allen Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states. We can assist companies in getting their first certificate of operation and then help them expand nationwide. We can also help businesses create and launch new products, setting up standard risk pools, and creating captive entities. So, if you're planning a company expansion, if you plan to create a captive, if you have a dispute with a regulator, or if you need an expert witness to win your case, if you're planning a merger or acquisition, or if you just need legislative guidance or access, your next call should be to Allen Kerr Advisors. Give us a call or click that contact button on the top of our website at allenkerradvisors.com.
All right, welcome back to the Allen Kerr Advisors fifth quarter postgame show. I am Razorback Zach alongside Marcus MC Carlton, who made his debut on the Dave Ellswick show this morning.
I feel special now, man.
Killed it.
That was fun. I enjoyed that. I appreciate Dave having us on. That was a good time.
Killed it until my idiot self decided to ask him. Anyway,
you did ask it off the air, though.
I was
you asked it during the break.
I asked him on the break, and I asked him about a movie, and that was. But hey, I got to tell you one thing, man. Being on Dave's show is probably the coolest thing ever. He is one of the coolest dudes I have ever got to hang out with and talk to on the radio. Yeah. And big thank you to Dave Ellswick and having us on every Friday talking about the Hogs, man. And glad you got to join us today, MC.
Yeah,
You're gonna love it during basketball season. I promise you.
Oh, yeah. Dave and I are going to hit it off. We're both big basketball guys.
So now that we've got the bad stuff out of the way, let's talk a little football. Finally, talking season is over, and we get to talk about what happened on the field. And I'm going to tell you.
Okay, so do we have to? We have to start off this way.
All right.
We have to start off and put our ones to the sky for our tribal chief Swami D-Mad.
The hell we do.
Because D-Mad has been telling us since July 4th, 70.
Okay,
he's been throwing that 70 spot out.
Yes,
since July 4th.
But I have also banned him. Really.
So D-Mad, I am putting my one to the sky, and I acknowledge you.
This is not. No, I'm not. No. He is banned until basketball.
Oh, we had to get it in, man. We gotta eat our crow.
And he spot on.
Yeah.
On. He also made a point to say that because I talked to him on air. He also said that that first play.
Yeah, he did that too.
He almost called that one too.
Yeah.
So
he had everything right except the pass didn't get completed. He had the receiver. He had the play call. I mean, the only thing that was missing was dude catching the ball and scoring.
I'm just gonna say this, MC. You realize there'd be no living with him after this.
Yeah, he'll have to turn to the side to get his head through the door now. From that ego swelling. But
and we're gonna have to tie him down to the earth
again,
to keep his head from floating off because
to the sky for D-Man.
No, he's a good dude, and yeah, he was dead on. I didn't think it was gonna hit 70. Okay,
I didn't either.
I thought, okay, they're gonna hit 42, and Sam's gonna do what he does best and take his foot off the brake or off the gas. No. Boy, was I wrong. Okay.
Hey, I know you've seen that picture on Twitter circulating of Bobby in the first half there, where he's got his hat on, he's got the shades, and he's got the play card up, like covering his face.
Yes.
I mean, did dude not look like he was in the World Series of Poker right there? I mean, he had that look about him.
I think, and again, we said it on Dave Ellswick this morning, MC. I think it's safe to say that we know who's running the offense. And I look, and I made a comment, and I'm gonna say this because I've been waiting all day to CYA. All right, I made a comment that we have vastly underestimated this team. That does not mean I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. All right, I wonder what this tastes like.
Yeah.
But yeah. I will give D-Mad more props, because I will say this. You're supposed to beat a team like that.
Well, let me see them do it in Stillwater.
The sad part is you're not wrong though. That's the thing. And we're gonna get a good look at Oklahoma State tomorrow night when they play South Dakota State. But the thing about, you come out and Arkansas set several, I don't know if anybody realizes this. They set several records on the field, not in the stadium. They set a lot of records last night. Okay.
They did. Yeah.
Second highest scoring season opener in program history at 70-0. Okay. The first one was 1911 against Missouri State, 100-0.
So
okay?
I heard a stat today. Was listening to the radio, waiting on time to pass so that I could come home from work. Shout out Ruskin and Zach for this stat. Do you know when the last shutout was?
For Arkansas?
Yeah, when's the last time Arkansas shut out?
It was Arkansas and LSU 17-0. That was Pittman's first. No, I take that back.
Incorrect. You are incorrect.
That's not. It was not. That was not the last shutout.
You're never going to get this one.
It was the Bielema era, wasn't it?
Nope. It was your boy whose name we don't talk about. They shut out Tulsa. One of the 4 wins that the man had in the 2 years he was here.
23-0 was the final there.
Yeah.
23-0.
So he couldn't win an SEC game, but he had the most recent shutout.
I remember that because I decided not to watch the game, and I remember exactly what I was doing when I was that. Is hey, by the way, real quick, Jesse, star Dan Yoakum's comment for me real quick. I remember where I was during that. I told Chloe we were going to carve pumpkins because that was around Halloween. It was an October game. And I was like, I'm not watching the game. I'll listen to it, but I'm not going to watch it. And that score, Chuck kept going, all right, it's, this amount, 17, 23. And I'm going, how bad is Tulsa?
Yeah. Yeah, couldn't win an SEC game, but he had the most recent shutout as a coach.
But more of these records, 7 straight. 7 straight in the first half. 7 straight possessions, 7 straight touchdowns.
Or you go 10 for 10 on the game.
You go 10 for 10. Do we even have, and I will say this because, and throw Dan's comment up there for me real quick, Jesse. Do we even have a kicker?
Well, it's funny because, a few hours before game time, it came out that the deep snapper was no longer part of the team. And it's like, Bobby looked at it and said, snapper? We don't need no deep snapper.
Well, we got, we don't need a red snapper.
Well, we didn't need any kind of snapper in that game because.
But the thing that amazes me, and I have been preaching this for weeks now, leading up to that game last night. Consistency. I didn't care what the score was. I didn't care who played where. I just wanted to see consistency. I wanted to see us step our foot on the throat of our opponent and leave it there.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we did. Okay. Yeah. Everything. I'll be honest with you, because I went back and watched the Western Carolina game from last year that was in that stadium.
Yeah.
Again, y'all roasted me on Wednesday night, and now here I am taking crow from freaking Dylan.
You have to put your one up when you say his name.
It wasn't the players. It wasn't the talent. That was the issue. And he's been preaching it for a year.
Hashtag coaching matters.
It does. It does. But when Pitt finally just listens to his coaches and let his coaches do what they do best, this is the result. Okay? The guys run
it's more like when Pittman hires a good coach.
Yeah.
Things
Which, by the
go
way,
well.
speaking of, and I know I'm bouncing all over the place, but again, my brain was fried from the heat yesterday, so y'all just have to deal with it. A couple of comments were made. I was listening to Buzz today, and I haven't done that for months. Not taking anything away from them, by the way. Talking season just gets boring for me after a while.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of comments were made on one of the shows that were at the game that night, and somebody at some point had asked Pitt about hiring Bobby Petrino. And this may have been on the Buzz, or it may have been on the ESPN broadcast. I can't remember. And they said, no, I hired Bobby Petrino. I was the one that hired him. I wanted him on staff. I was the one that hired him. Talking about Pitt hiring Bobby.
Yeah.
That just goes to show you Pitt starting to get that ruthless, another WWE reference, ruthless aggression attitude.
Well,
where he wants to win.
Yeah, that's the bottom
line.
line.
At all cost.
And for as much crap as I've given Pittman for the I don't know and that's not how we practiced it, I will say this about the man. It's obvious that if he had an ego, he put it in check and realized that the best move he could make to save his job was to go hire someone. It ended up being Bobby, that had the type of offense that was dynamic, and just go completely hands off and say, all right, here's the keys to the car. It's on you now. I'm making the payments, but you get to drive it.
So I also discovered something else that they do at War Memorial Stadium that I don't think they do in Fayetteville. Again, I don't know for sure because it's their home stadium in Fayetteville and not down here. But they shut at the end of the game, they shut the elevators down in the press box for the assistant coaches. So everybody,
that's pretty standard.
Everybody has to stay where they're at until the assistant coaches get down to the locker room.
Yeah.
Well, one of the guys that works with one of the new sports directors that were there last night, I won't name names, had a lot of equipment with him, and he was telling this story on the radio this morning. And he said he said, you know what, I don't want to walk down the stairs with all this gear. It just it's too heavy.
I've done that. That's not fun.
One of the defensive coaches for Arkansas, whose name is still anonymous, was in the elevator and told the guy, they can ride with us. You know, no big deal. So they all got in the elevator with all this gear, and they asked the coach. They said, "Well, that was a shutout. You ought to be pretty proud." Guess what the defensive coach said?
He focused on the missed tackles.
Defensive coach said, "No, no. There is a lot to work on." That right there, with the attitude and the mentality from the coaching staff to have that. Yeah, coach. That tells you right there. The culture, the attitude, the mentality of this team is not the same team from last year. Okay.
We just have to see now. Does it translate to W's?
83 of the 92 players that Arkansas brought with them down to Fayetteville saw the field.
And you had a couple guys that didn't even dress out that would normally have played.
6 did not see the field.
Yeah.
Okay. I loved now here's some of the takeaways that I loved what I saw once Taylon Green settled down. When he let that first ball go, he kind of realized, and if you look at his body language, when he let that first ball go and it sailed on him, he kind of stopped, and if you look, he glanced up at the flags and stared for a second. Okay. He adjusted with the wind.
Yeah.
Everybody knows if you're on that turf at that stadium does some weird stuff. Okay. The wind does
especially
some weird
there.
stuff.
And it's more so there than it is in Fayetteville, because if you've ever been down on the field, it feels completely different down there, because if wind, first off, most of it doesn't get in there. It's mostly it's like a vacuum. But if some wind does get down in there, it just swirls because there's nowhere for it to go because of the way the stadium is built. And it can do some funky things with the ball.
Yeah, and the other thing too that I realized is Jaquindon Jackson's the real deal.
I liked what I saw out of him. I will say this: I liked going back to quarterback play. When Taylor Green settled down, that throw he made on the run to the corner of the end zone was a thing of beauty. But I liked what I saw out of Malachi Singleton when he got in there. 8 out of 10, moving the ball up and down the field. You know, I felt like that Clint Sterner had a really good breakdown on the mechanics. You know, Clint has quarterback school and all this. He had a good breakdown on the difference in the mechanics of Taylor Green and Malachi Singleton, and I thought it was really well done because he broke it down to where people like me who never played the game can understand what he's talking about. But he said that Singleton actually had the better mechanics of the two quarterbacks.
Yeah, he did. But at the same time, I mean, if you there's really not there really wasn't a drop off from Malachi Singleton or from Taylor Green to Malachi Singleton.
No, and there wasn't much drop off down to KJ Jackson either.
Well, and I will say this: KJ Jackson looked good, but I think
freshman.
I think we need to wait a few years before we have another KJ under center.
There's
not taking anything away from the kid. Just the last.
The name is the only similarity between those two guys.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And the biggest thing that I looked at, and you can go back to our first episode of the season when we talked about the offensive side of the ball.
Mm-hmm.
The offensive line. Okay. The offensive line is what I was looking for the most yesterday. And you know what I saw? I saw an offensive line that wanted to protect the quarterback.
Yeah.
Because you look for, and it's like Dave said this morning, you look for the missed assignment, you look for the missed block.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you didn't see that.
Yeah.
Taylor, and even Malachi and KJ, okay, they all had plenty of time in that pocket.
They were very comfortable in the pocket.
It's almost like I saw spurts of a Matt Jones and Taylor Green.
That big run he had right before the half. I mean, the way that he was making guys miss and literally cut diagonally all the way across the field. Yeah. He took, a 40-yard run became about a 106-yard run with all the sideways running he was doing. But I mean, that was some Matt Jones type stuff right there.
Now, the other thing too that you saw from the whole team, and not just the offense, not just the defense, but the whole team, was they celebrated with whoever scored. Mm-hmm. They celebrated with whoever made the big play on defense. Okay. I saw Taylor Green sprint from what I think was his own 30-yard line to the end zone just to celebrate with Jaquindon Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's a stat for you, MC. Let me throw something at you. Arkansas in 2023 had nine total rushing touchdowns.
Single digits. Yeah.
9. The whole season. 9. We had 8 in one game.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's another one for you. We averaged 135, 140 yards on the ground a game last year.
Mm-hmm.
With 5 minutes left to go in the first quarter, we had 130 yards.
Yeah.
Okay. 130 yards. The running game is back at Arkansas. Now, again, everybody's going to be like, well, it's just you pay UAPB. At the end of the day, it's still a college football team.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's still a college football team. Okay? You struggled. Yes, it was a 52-3 win against Western Carolina last year.
But score was not indicative of the game.
How many times throughout that game did you and I both go, oh, God, this is not going to – It didn't feel like a blowout win. This year?
Yeah.
Ooh, this felt like I'm coming for blood this year.
There were a couple plays from the Western Carolina game that popped back into my head as I was watching last night. And one was a quarterback sack where they didn't even bring a blitz. I mean, it was a coverage sack.
Yeah.
And didn't get rid of the ball in time. The other one was Arkansas got stopped on a 4th and 2 by Western Carolina. And, it was around midfield, maybe just on the Arkansas side of the 50. I mean, it's close enough to midfield. You're kind of in that no man's land where you don't necessarily want to punt. And you feel like when you're playing an inferior opponent like that, you should just be able to line up and run over them. Arkansas couldn't do that. And then you see what happened last night. I think we had 7 times we were on third down, and we were 7 for 7 on third down. So, I mean, it's just, the difference, attitude and coaching make a huge, huge difference.
Yeah, and you're seeing the effect of Pittman letting, again, I'll say it again, let you see it too, don't you?
Yeah, I see it.
You're seeing the effect of Pitt finally stepping aside and letting his coaches do what they do best. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
He wants to be respectful. He wants to be the good guy. He wants to be, and Bobby basically that last night, Bobby was, look, you can take that and shove it because I'm going to keep going. I don't care.
I made a tweet last night, and I think I sent it to y'all in text too. Bobby came in there last night to score touchdowns and chew bubble gum, and he forgot the damn bubble gum.
Oh yeah.
He was there. He was there for touchdowns.
Oh yeah. And he was there. He was there to make a statement.
Yeah. And I think statement was made.
Now shift it to next week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whole different ball game.
But I'm not going to put this up on the screen because it's a paragraph long, but
it's good stuff though.
Jesse, you want to read the comment from Loki? Let's see if Jesse's got his
coming in from Wise Man. You're supposed to beat a team like UAPB, Zach exclaimed to the viewers at home. Let's see them do that in Stillwater, MC said, affirming the realistic expectations of his co-host. I was right. Suck it, D-Mad was heard shouting in the background. I got to find a way to mute him, Jesse muttered as he shook his head. Welcome to the post game, y'all.
The way he read that, man, it was almost like a children's book with the different emphasis in the correct places, man. That was well done. I kept waiting on his next line to be "Good night, Moon."
Right, right.
I gotta jump in here with y'all real quick.
Yeah.
Something I seen last night. MC, you and I talked about it on the pregame show. I was worried about penalties. We had a couple stupid penalties there in the first quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I said in our group chat last night, I said, all right, first quarter's over. Cut the penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know that we had more than 1 or 2 penalties the rest of the game.
We had one in the second half. And the only reason I know that is because I had put my phone on the app to hear kind of what Pittman was going to have to say when he was coming off the field at halftime. Because what are you going to say when you're up 49-0 at half?
I don't know.
First thing,
sorry.
He did not say that.
You set me up perfectly for that.
So coming off field, he's talking to Geno Bell there on the sideline. First thing he points out is, we got to clean up the stupid penalties. He's like, we had 5 penalties there in the first half. He's like, that's unacceptable. Come back the second half, we had 1. So
yeah. Well, and for those of you that have that Hawg Club, damn it, Jesse.
I've got it, Zach.
Oh man, that Christmas episode when we're gonna release our gag reel I'm in trouble. Let's just put it like that.
I'm gonna have to spend a whole weekend editing that video now, and we're not even into week 2 of the season.
Yeah, we're not even into week 2 yet.
Yeah, I know. For those of you that have Hogs Plus, go watch the post game speech that Pittman gives in the locker room. Okay, go watch it because there's something a little bit different about the way he does things now.
Maybe it's coming along with a little more experience. He's got another year of being a head coach under his belt, and no matter how long you're an assistant, when you step up to the big chair, things are just different. And maybe it just took him a little while to adjust.
Well, but again, at the same time, this, and I'll go ahead and say this was his make or break year.
Oh, it still is. I mean, yeah, this is the make or break year.
Again, I'm not drinking the Kool-Aid.
You got Kool-Aid stain on your lips, Zach.
Yeah, wipe your mouth there.
That's
as I
liquid.
take another drink.
That's liquid IV or Gatorade, one of the two. That's not the Kool-Aid. The outlook, if they come out with that same intensity against Oklahoma State, because that game 17th in the country, okay, 17th in the country at Stillwater, okay, that game, if they come out with that same intensity, and they come out with a win, things are going to be looking a little bit brighter going into UAB.
Win is a big ask over there, especially with that. You know, as I was talking a little bit about it this morning, Ollie Gordon, man, he is the.
You said something on Dave's show this morning about, you know, I don't remember exactly what you said, but my response to it was, if he's sober.
Oh, on Ollie Gordon. Yeah, I was talking about, well, I mean, you know, you got the defending Doak Walker Award winner, which is the best running back in the country. I made a statement that he is Oklahoma State's version of McFadden with the way he dominates a game. And the entire offense of Oklahoma State runs through him. So, and then I think that was where you popped in with the if he's sober.
Yeah.
Because, you know, he's the one that had the drunk driving ticket back about, what, a month ago?
Yeah.
It wasn't very long ago at all. But, you know, I think it's going to be a tall ask to go over there and come out with the win.
Yeah.
It's not impossible.
I'm looking over here in our fan feed, on our live fan feedback. I'm gonna be nice. But no, absolutely not.
No,
it's no.
Listen, the whole KJ and Cam Newton thing after his performance last night, that needs to stop. Because man did not have a good game last night.
No.
Now I can kind of see the build of Lamar Jackson and Taylor Green. They have a similar build. You know, I'd have to watch their release side by side to see if their release is anywhere the same. But I think I could see where you could get the comparison from the build and the fact that, you know, they're both scrambled. The difference is Lamar Jackson ran a 4.3. And he had running back speed at the quarterback position. But, I mean, I can see just from a stature standpoint where you get the comparison.
Yeah, and I get that. There's really, outside of first game jitters, there's really nothing bad you can say about this.
You know, yeah, I mean, there were a couple times that, you know, tackling was a little bit off. I don't remember any busted assignments on the offensive line. I remember a couple of secondary breakdowns, but nothing that can't be corrected really quickly. I mean, it wasn't catastrophic failures in the secondary. It was just, you know, they caught a break where the one pass that the Pine Bluff quarterback threw with a foot out of bounds. You know, that bounced off a couple guys and bounced into a Pine Bluff receiver's hand. Would have been 7 points, but the quarterback had 1 foot stepping out of bounds when he threw the ball.
If you watch that back, MC, the whistle blew and I heard it. And I don't remember who the defender was. I think it was Singletary, maybe.
But he let up.
And then as soon as he seen the ball thrown, he tried to recover, and it was just too slow. Yeah. But he done what you're taught to do. He played to the whistle. He heard the whistle. He let up. And then struggled to recover and almost recovered and got a pick.
You had said, MC, on Dave Ellswick this morning, you had said that you want to see our linebackers against Ollie Gordon.
Yeah.
Think about this matchup. Xavier Story versus Ollie Gordon.
That is the matchup I want to see.
That is what I want. Or Hudson Clark, if you're going to throw him.
Hudson Clark, did he even see the field last night?
I don't think so.
Because Metcalf started over him. That was one of the positions on the depth chart. And Metcalf, and I don't remember if it was which Metcalf, because there's 2 Metcalf brothers, and I don't remember which one of them it was that got the start over him. But Hud Island was the island on the sideline last night.
Which I'm okay with, you know, to be totally honest.
Honestly, I don't care who plays. Just win. That's all I want. I mean, if it's Hudson Clark, fine. If it's Metcalf, fine. I don't care.
I know I'm a Cowboy fan, but just like Al Davis used to say, just win, baby, win.
That's it. That's all it boils down to.
But again, look at the fan base right now.
Mhm.
Okay. Winning cures all.
You're a little more energized. You feel a little better going to Stillwater.
Do you realize we've got the number one offense in the SEC for another 24 hours?
Right now, we got the number one offense in the country.
Okay.
And the number one defense.
700 yards of total offense.
Yeah.
Okay. 700 yards. I would love for somebody to tell me the last time Arkansas put up 700 yards total offense.
I don't even know.
Okay.
But I'm saying it now. Print the banners for the top offense and the top defense in the country. Because when has there ever been a team, even if it's just for 24 hours, the same team have the number one offense and the number one defense in the country?
And we were the first team to kick off the SEC season.
There you go. So, hang the banner.
Man. Positives, man. As we wrap up here, because we're going to keep this short, because I know a lot of people are going to be out at high school football games tonight. If you are out at a high school football game, keep an eye on the weather, especially anything southeast of Little Rock.
Yeah, some pop-ups may happen.
No, it's a big one. There's some big ones coming up.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't look like it's going to affect Central Arkansas at all, but y'all stay hydrated. Don't do like I did, and we're not going to talk about that. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. But y'all have fun tonight. Be safe. I will say this, because my daughter is in the marching band out at that high school, but good luck to the Bigelow Panthers, and their first ever 2A state title defense begins tonight. Salt Bowl also tonight at War Memorial, and I guarantee you, you won't hear a peep out of anything that happens at that stadium, because nothing will happen.
Will there be a bigger crowd for the Salt Bowl than there was for last night?
Yes, 100%.
I think so too.
And I'm actually working on that. Big thank you to Tracy Olson, Mark Olson, and our number one fan, Casey Sutton, was in attendance yesterday.
How about that?
So big thank you to those three. I hope to see everybody at Boudreaux's next Saturday, 11 o'clock kickoff for Arkansas, Oklahoma State. We're going to have more on Oklahoma State next week on ITHP on Wednesday night, 7 p.m. And guys, be watching or listening for the notification of our next podcast. We're going to have probably 3 of them coming up soon. War Memorial games, the NIL, and probably a surprise one. You're not going to want to miss it. For Jesse the Beard Thurman and Marcus MC Carlton, I'm Razorback Zach. Thank you, everybody, for watching the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show. Big thank you to Allen Kerr for sponsoring the show. Until Wednesday night, so long, everybody.
Hi, I'm Allen Kerr, president and founder of Allen Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states. We can assist companies in getting their first certificate of operation and then help them expand nationwide. We can also help businesses create and launch new products, setting up standard risk pools, and creating captive entities. So, if you're planning a company expansion, if you plan to create a captive, if you have a dispute with a regulator, or if you need an expert witness to win your case, if you're planning a merger or acquisition, or if you just need legislative guidance or access, your next call should be to Allen Kerr Advisors. Give us a call or click that contact button on the top of our website at allenkerradvisors.com.